Hello and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name is David Hanson, and yes, welcome to my YouTube channel. This was what I intended to be my first ever video, and the main basis of this channel is playing retro sports games, specifically the ones on the 6th generation of consoles. The ones on the PS2, original Xbox, GameCube, and I suppose the Dreamcast, but not really. I mean, it's technically a 6th generation console, but I mean, you know what I mean. Anyway, I have an application known as Dolphin Emulator open and running. Now, if you don't know, Dolphin Emulator is a free to download software which lets you run Nintendo GameCube and Wii games on the on your PC. I have not installed any Wii games yet because, well, I don't have a Wii, and like I'm not sure how you register the motion controls, and I mean, like if I want to play Wii games, I'd probably just play a Wii. Like, not really fault on the emulator, just like I mean, like part of the Wii's fun experience is, playing is, motion controls, like fun stuff. Okay, I'm getting caught up in talking about the Wii, but yes, I've not downloaded any of the Wii games, just the GameCube games on here, and what I intend to do is to be playing many retro sports games from the early 2000s. I've got every single GameCube game on here. Yeah, pretty much every single one. Most of them work really well. I haven't really encountered a game that doesn't work that well. Now, some of the games that we'll be playing. I think we'll have a lot of fun with these Madden games. I've played Madden. In fact, I have a copy of Madden 07 on my GameCube. It's really fun. There's Madden 02 all the way till Madden 08, which, yeah, that's a lot of Madden titles. That's seven Madden titles on the GameCube. They certainly supported it. And if you scroll down, we got MVP Baseball, and there's the iconic MVP Baseball 2005. I'd love to play that game a lot more, but when I open it, it never really runs well on the emulator version. I'm not really sure about the PS2 emulator. I think it's called PCSX2. I haven't dealt with that, and mostly because, like, I don't own a PlayStation controller, and like currently I'm playing these games on my wired Xbox 360 controller. I mean, I haven't yet purchased a GameCube adapter to where it can play in my PC. So right now we'll have to use the 360 controller. I know you guys can't see it. It's just voice stuff. Then we've got the NASCAR games. Now, I'm a huge NASCAR fan, and it's a shame that there are only 3 NASCAR games on here. Like, they made Thunder 2003. Thunder 2004 was supposed to launch, but it got canceled. And Chase for the Cup 2005 was added on there. And then they just stopped. Which kind of sucks. I mean, only 2 EA NASCAR games are on there. And then there's NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, which I just was recently. That was the most recent game I've played. And it is a lot of fun with its cheat codes. I could easily see myself having a whole lot of fun playing on that. That game is really fun. I think we'll probably play that a lot throughout the history of the channel. Then there's NBA Courtside 2002. It's a Nintendo NBA game. Yeah, you can see Nintendo actually made it. They actually made an They actually made a basketball game, an NBA one. Which, I mean, that to me is kind of shocking. Then you've got the NBA Live titles. I mean, back in the day, NBA Live was way better than 2K. Like, back then, like, nowadays, 2K is king, and NBA Live is just, like, It's essentially just a punchline nowadays. But back in the day, back in the glory days of sports gaming, Live was on top. Specifically, Live 2005. That game is amazing. It's considered the best NBA Live, maybe even the best basketball game of all time. You've also got Live 03. Live 03 is really fun to play. Like it's got a bunch. It's got arcade style gameplay. Like it's really fast paced, upbeat, and that's really fun. Like it's very easy for anyone to pick up and play. And that was Live 2003 was a very good game. Live 2004, like it took all Live 2004 is basically like a more evolved version of 2004, but I still like playing 2003. And then they've got NBA Live 06, which it's a pretty good port on the GameCube from what I've played on it. However, the next gen port of it on the Xbox 360 was really bad. And I mean that could be said for all EA next gen ports. Like Madden, the first Madden on the 7th gen consoles was terrible. NCAA Football 07 on the Xbox 360, that was a terrible game. Often considered like the worst NCAA football game. Then there, like, NASCAR 08 on Xbox 360 was terrible. Like, yeah, pretty much all next-gen ports of these games were terrible. However, most of the old-gen versions were actually pretty good. Then if you scroll down, we've got the iconic NBA Street series. We got Street 1, Street 2, and Street 3, which, if you kind of think about it, like, those are all the Street games. And the fact that all three of them were all released on GameCube, I mean, that's quite amazing, considering how low the GameCube got in terms of sport. Like, I mean, like, compared to the PS2, which, I mean, that thing was supported until, like, I believe its last game was Pro Evolution Soccer 2014. And that is quite crazy. And what is even crazier is that, like, a month prior, or sometime around then, like, around a month prior, EA released FIFA 14 for PS2, PS3, and PS4. Which, I mean, that to me is just so crazy. The GameCube's last game was Madden NFL 08, which came out in 2007. The original Xbox's last title was Madden 09, and FIFA 14, well, it's actually PES 14, but, I mean, the fact that it was still, like, the PS2 was still in manufacture, was still being manufactured and sold up until 2013, which is, that's just insane. Like, I mean, with the PS2, we would get a wider selection of games, but I'm not just, I'm just, like, playing an Xbox controller and trying to play PS2 games or any PlayStation emulator, it just would not work. And, I mean, it's just because of the button layout. I'm not just talking about the different buttons, but they're just, you understand what I mean. But yeah, the Street games, specifically Street 2, is so insane to play. Like, I'm a big sucker for, like, I'm a sucker for giant, thunderous dunks and, the most disrespectful blocks. And while the original Street and Street 3 are still good fun, Street 2, that one's special. And then we've got the NBA 2K games, back when they were owned by Sega. As you can see, Sega made these games. We got 2K2, 2K3, NCAA Basketball 2K3. A little note on that, the GameCube version, which this is the only college basketball game on the GameCube. And it did not sell that well, so Sega decided to stop, releasing it. So thus, 2K3 has actually become like one of the rarest sports games in the world. Specifically the GameCube port. I mean, it's easy to get it on original Xbox, PS2. I think it even got a Dreamcast port. I'm not sure, but I mean, it's made by Sega, and like at this point, they still were at least porting it over to Dreamcast. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Then we've got NCAA College Football 2K3. It's a decent game. All these 2K games are decent, but I just wish they supported the GameCube for longer. Then we would have had 2K5 on the GameCube. ESPN NFL 2K5. Which really sucks, because it was only released on PS2 and Xbox. Which means I cannot... There's no original Xbox emulator. There are ones, but... I mean, they do not run games that well. Like, they're good, but they're not... I mean, they're decent. They get the job done, but... they're not really that great. Like, it ranges... like, some games refuse to load. Like, some games don't load. Some games only load the intro. Some games are, like, playable. Like, very few games are exact one-to-one copies. Like, very, very few. And that's... I'm hoping they develop an original Xbox emulator in due course. Like, I mean, we have, like, super advanced PCs, and trying to emulate a 2001 Xbox, like, it shouldn't be that hard, and I assume as technology advances, it should improve. Then we've got NCAA Football 2003, 2004, and 2005. What really sucks about this is that NCAA Football 06 isn't in here. And to me, like, these games are good, but there's just something about NCAA Football 06. Like, it's the race for the Heisman, like the single-player career mode. I know a lot of people say NCAA Football 2004 is the best college football game. And honestly, I think they're wrong. I think NCAA Football 06 is the best. Like, some people say NCAA Football 14, like the final NCAA football game, is the best. And I mean, had that not been the final NCAA football game, like, I don't think it'd be, like, reviewed in that high respect. I'm not saying it's a bad game, just the greatest college football game, I just don't think so. 2004 is great, but 2006, they didn't port it on the GameCube. It was just released on the Xbox and PS2, which that really sucks. But I mean, it's alright. At least we got these. At least we do have college football games, and the 2K3 game isn't really that great. Like, the NCAA, the EA Sports games are much better. Then we've got the Need for Speed games. I've never personally played it. I've always wanted to play the Need for Speed games. One day I will. I've heard they're really good. We've also got a bunch of other NFL games. NFL Blitz. These are the games made by Midway. NFL Quarterback Club. It was the only NFL game made by Acclaim. Remember that studio? Remember that game developer? Yeah, they were never really that good. And then we got the NFL Street games, which Street 3 was not ported to the GameCube. It released in 2006 for just the PS2. They didn't even port it on the Xbox, which I don't really understand why. Like, Street 3 was on the GameCube, and yet a year later it doesn't even get a port on the Xbox. Like, that doesn't really make that much sense. Street is great. Street 2 is... I haven't played it. I've been too busy playing the original Street. But one day I'll play Street 2. And if you notice, both these games are from 2004. Well, I mean, I thought that was weird, but I looked at it a little bit closer. I looked at the actual release date, and the original Street released, like, at the very beginning of January. And Street 2 released at in December. So in the span of a year, they had pumped out not only the first game, but also a sequel. And they did that in 12 months, while still making yearly games for Madden, the NFL, NBA, NASCAR, MLB. Like, they were still making the MVP baseball games by then. What else? NHL, FIFA, like, all those other sports, and they still they were still also working on the next NBA Street game. Like, it's honestly amazing how much EA Tiburon was able to do. in 2004. That was also, I can't even forget the Tiger Woods PGA Tour games. Like that, they were also making those, and they were pretty good. Also got NFL 2K3. I mean, I've played it, and it really isn't that good. Maybe it's just because I played 2K5. Like, I've got that game on my original Xbox, and it is so fun. And maybe it's just compared to that 2K3 feels just bad. Got another. Then we got the NHL games. NHL 2003, the NHL Hits series, which, yeah, that was, yeah, those games were pretty fun. I've never really played many hockey games. That's always the one sport I've never done. I mean, I'm sure one day I'll get to the NHL games. NHL 2004, 2005, and NHL 06. A lot of people say NHL 04 is one of the best. It's often compared to NHL 94, which, yeah, on the game that released in 1993 on the Sega Genesis. That's often compared as one of the best games, and it's not just nostalgia. Like, the game is actually pretty good. But I mean, like, Tecmo Bowl was really fun. Like, not just really fun. Like, it was like Tecmo Bowl. That's one of the best 16. One of the best 2D however many bits. I think it was the original game had 8 bits. The sequel had 16 bits. Then the final release, I think it was in 1995, still had 16 bits. And I remember playing those games on my dad's SNES emulator. At the time, I had no Madden. I basically had nothing. I had no sports video games. So that was my game. I played that for like a year and a half, maybe even 2. And like I had found, like, it was not the original game. You know, the original one everyone remembers, like Bo Jackson running circles around everybody. I think it was the second game. That was really fun. Tecmo Bowl 3, I've never really played. But I mean, all I can say is that the sequel, that game was so much fun. Like, the first one was great, but I don't know, it just felt like I was throwing interceptions too much, and that unless you played as the then LA Raiders, you couldn't really win. Because they had Bo Jackson. But the next game had, like, every single team. Like, the graphics were, I mean, pretty good for, like, an SNES game. And yeah, that game, I still don't see why that's not, like, why is that not, like, up there with NHL 94? Like, that game was freaking awesome. Seriously, like, if you have not played it, like, go out there and play Tecmo Bowl. One of the games. I prefer the second one, but still. Yeah, I got a little off track. We got NHL 2005, NHL 06. Yeah, it looks like most of it. I probably won't be playing any Mario games on here. Like, most of them I have on my GameCube, but also, I mean, I'm playing it with an Xbox controller. That just feels weird. And also, down here, we've got the Tiger Woods PGA Tour games. Also got NHL 2K3, which I didn't even know Sega made a hockey game. I did not know they made that. Interesting. Let's see, going down. Yes, the Tiger Woods PGA Tour games. I don't know why there are multiple releases. Like, I just noticed that. It was Disc 1 and Disc 2. Disc 1, Disc 2. It's weird, but, yeah, that was it. And up to the top, there's also, sorry, I also, kind of left out some other games, such as, I left out, yeah, there's also the F1 games. I've never actually played those. You know, one day, yeah, I'm probably gonna play those, eventually. F1 games. I mean, amazingly, they stopped making them after 2000 and, yeah, their last release was 2003. It's called F1 Career Challenge. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Then they've also got the FIFA games, FIFA 03, 4, 5, 6, 7, and FIFA 07. It was 2006, and they were still. That's great that FIFA got a port in 2006, well after, like, well, most of EA Sports' franchises had moved on from the GameCube. They still kept porting FIFA. But, I mean, Madden ended up, like, getting more ports on the GameCube. Like, hell, Madden 2002 was a GameCube launch game, and Madden 08 was the last GameCube game. That's pretty crazy. And also over here at the top, they've got a little-known baseball series called All-Star Baseball, made by, you guessed it, Acclaim. Remember that one? Yep, maybe I'm just gonna always say that. Like, since they're no longer existing, and also at the same time being a 2006 E3 reference to Ridge Racer. You know, during, like, the PS3's press conference. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. The PS3's press conference where he yelled, Ridge Racer! Remember that one? That was almost the most meme-worthy moment of E3 2006, had not been for the giant enemy crab quote. I don't want to get fully into it, but they had said that there'd be a launch game that focused on actual ancient Japan battles. And then when they go into the game, like at one point they're at like a boss fight, and they say on camera, yeah, and now here's a giant enemy crab thing. That was their exact quotes. Giant enemy crab thing. I mean, that's not, I mean, if you want to ask me why the PS3, like, flunked so hard out of the gate, that's one of the reasons why. It's also just horrible marketing. Like, y'all remember the baby ad? That thing was horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Like, you thought Sega had weird commercials? Like, just go look up PSP ads or PS Vita. The PS Vita ones aren't that bad, but the PS3 baby ad. Do yourselves a favor and do not look that stuff up. Ever. PS3 baby ad. It is one of the, in my opinion, the worst video game console advertisement there will ever be. But yeah, returning to the subject, whenever I'm going to play an Acclaim game, I think I'm always gonna say, and I guess I'm always just gonna say, and this game was made by Acclaim. Remember that one? It's kind of like, I don't know, I just thought I'd do it. Hopefully, like, each YouTube channel has, like, that catchphrase or something. Something like that. Like, something catchy. I just thought that'd be cool. But yeah, those are most of the games. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there were some, I believe, Sega made some, did they make some MLB games? I don't think those ever got ports on the GameCube. That's the reason why. Wait, did they make, wait, is Fight Night on here? Fight Night. Fight Night. Final Fantasy Fight Night. Crap. Okay, apparently there weren't any Fight Night ports, which, dang, can they hurry up with the Xbox emulator? Like, I don't know if that's actually being made, but, like, if you like the original Xbox, go do us all a giant fat solid, and go, like, start working it. Like, if you know how to do it and you feel passionate about it, that'd be a great thing to do. Do us all a big thing. Do us all a big solid, and go make an OG Xbox emulator. That would much be appreciated. So yeah, I think I've ran through every game on here, have I? Yep, looks like it. So yeah, that's just a glimpse of some of the games. Actually, that's pretty much all the most of the games that we're gonna be playing on this channel. It looks really fun, and I can't wait. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm not really sure what the next video is gonna be. Let me just see. Um, I've got maybe I'd start out with one of the NASCAR games, since those games hold a special place in my heart. I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I mean, NASCAR '05, that was the first NASCAR game I've ever played. Or, well, technically it was the first one I enjoyed. I mean, the Eutechnyx games never really... I mean, they were fun for the time, but then, like, I got NASCAR 2005, and I was like, whoa. This game, like, I thought the Eutechnyx games were, like, really good. Then I played 2005, and I was like, whoa. Like, dude, this stuff is, like, so much better, and it came out, like, 8 years before. Like, I had NASCAR the game Inside Line, and I mean, the driving model is really good in that game, but everything else about the game is absolute dog crap. Aside from the paint booth, but, I mean, a lot of people praise it, saying, like, it's the best, but, like, I could not do anything on there. Look, a lot of people say, like, it's so much better than, like, the presets you see in, like, the EA games and the Heat games. Okay, to be honest, they're a lot better than the presets in the Heat games. I haven't even bothered buying a Heat game, they just... But yeah, like, I did not know how to do anything. There are no tutorials, there are no guides to it. Like, it's just like, here you go, like, figure it out. And it was, like, it feels so complicated. And, like, I'm nowhere close to that. I'm good at making cars with presets, but that's about it. So you know what? I think I'm going to start off this channel with a NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup career mode. I think that'd be really fun. I think that'd be the first main series for this channel. Alright? So, that's it for our first ever video on the YouTube. I don't know why I said on the YouTube. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for our first ever video on YouTube. We'll see you on the next one, where we'll start our NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup career mode. I'll see you then.